out here doing a survey looking for mushrooms, but there's also plenty of cool insects and other stuff out here, so let's see what we find. Over here growing on this log, we have these red clusters of little bubbles that are together. That is called a red raspberry slime mold. I made another video about slime molds where we looked at the actual body of a slime mold, which is called a plasmodium, as opposed to what it would be called in a mushroom, the mycelium. This is not the plasmodium, but the fruiting body, the equivalent to what a mushroom would be in other types of fungus. But for slime molds, I had mentioned that their bodies are made out of just a very big cell. But in this case, these fruiting bodies actually have a bunch of different cells in them that are not part of the body, but they're just spores, just reproductive structures. So right now is one of the rare times where this organism is going through cell division, if through a process called meiosis, if you remember your biology classes. So it's just forming reproductive cells to make the next generation. And right now, it's like a red liquidy stuff that's inside, and as it matures, it will turn into a brown powder, which is millions of spores will be released to start the next generation of red raspberry slime molds. Over here, I just wanted to show what the underside of the red raspberry slime mold looks like. It grows on top of these little white stalks that are part of the plasmodium, and that's what those little red bubbles of the red raspberry slime mold grow on. Over here we have another type of slime mold called the cotton candy slime mold. It's quite similar to the red raspberry slime mold in that this is the fruiting body and not actually part of the actual body of it. And so when this fruiting body first forms, it's more of a dense tissue and it grows in the same type of stalks, but the tissue kind of separates out and becomes more of this fluffy stuff as it releases its spores, which is why it's called the cotton candy fungus, or cotton candy slime mold, that is. Over here on this log, we've got some some white jelly fungus growing, which I've already talked about before. And on it is a larva, which I believe to be some type of fly larva, because it has no legs. It looks kind of similar to a crane fly larva, but I don't think that's what it is. Over here is some more cotton candy slime mold, except this kind is yellow, which makes it's actually a different species than the red one, but it's similar. I would like to apologize in advance for the shaky filming on this clip, because all the while filming this, I was trying to ignore the fact that my arm was getting devoured by mosquitoes. But over here we see plenty of examples of the varying stages of development in these animals' lives. For example, we got a nice cluster of cocoons here that belong to the gypsy moth. You can see there's one that's still in a larval form, the caterpillar right there. And so these are the gypsy moth. They're actually an invasive species. That is, some invasive species are able to live in their new ecosystem without really causing much damage, but these are very devastating to plant species. They can defoliate entire forests. So they're really not good, even though, they didn't do anything wrong. They're just trying to live their lives. We're the ones that brought them here. But yeah, you can see there's plenty of these cocoons here with a larva. And over here I'm trying to reveal an empty cocoon, an empty pupa. So you got the larva, the pupa, and the empty pupa, which is now turned into an adult. But unfortunately, I didn't find any adults here because they're nocturnal, and I didn't see them flying around or anything. So these are the gypsy moths. There's an empty pupa shell that I'm trying to show. So these pupae the cocoons are made out of the caterpillar saliva and their hair, which, when I talk about caterpillar saliva, caterpillars actually have two different types of salivary glands. One of them is like us, where we produce saliva that helps us digest our food and moisten our mouth. But they also have another type that makes a more solid, stringy type of saliva, what in our human language we call silk. So that's the type of saliva that I'm talking about. And it sort of binds their skin together and their hairs so that they're sticking out. That's a good defense mechanism because if you look at the hairs under the microscope, they're very like spiky almost, and they make your skin really itchy. But here's a larva that's probably about to pupate with his friends over here. So we're going to shed it. He's probably going to form a cocoon first out of his hair and saliva, and then shed his skin to form his pupal stage, and then emerge as an adult like the rest of his friends did. And over here, this was a very eaten up log, you can see. These are a nice family of ants that were living in there, and they're probably carpenter ants or something like that. And you can see their different stages of development. The adults are carrying the pupa away to safety so that they can take care of them and raise them to adults to take care of more larvae. So you can see them carry them all around over here. Those are the stages of development in ants. And up above, there was a daddy longlegs. Daddy longlegs are not insects. I don't know much about their development, but he's all white because he's just molted and moved on to his next stage of development. So these are all different developmental stages in various different types of insects with different types of metamorphosis. I've spoken previously about how the tiger sawgill looks like it has a hypomyces growing on it, which is a parasitic fungus that attacks other fungus. But the tiger sawgill doesn't have that. Here is an example of an actual type of hypomyces that is attacking a fungus. So you can see here that this is the fruiting body of some fungus that got attacked by the Hypomyces. I believe this specimen belongs to the Hypomyces tremellicola, and the fruiting body of this mushroom is actually quite unrecognizable. But if I had to guess, I would say it probably belongs to Crepidotus mollius, the flat oysterling, because that's a type of mushroom that this fungus particularly likes, and I found a lot of them that were unparasitized in this forest, but that's just a best guess. So you can see that the Hypomyces is feeding on this fruiting body and making it deform shape because the Hypomyces doesn't want it to spread the flat oysterling spores. It wants to spread the Hypomyces tremellicola spores. So here's just some things about it. You know, it's nice, soft and spongy, and some just what it looks like on the inside. Over here we have this puffball. You'll notice that I just picked it up off the ground. It wasn't attached to any type of mycelium or hyphae or anything. That's because this is a tumbling puffball. When it's young, it would be edible like most puffballs are. It would be white and it would still be attached to the ground. But as it gets older, it turns into this bronzy color and gets all gross to eat, that is. And it detaches from the ground, it tumbles around, spreading its spores. And if you squeeze it, you can see the spores coming out. Over here we have this lovely couple of green-legged spur-throated grasshoppers. Typically I think of grasshopper season as being at the end of summer, early fall, and when I'd seen these type of grasshoppers hopping around, I thought that they were nymphs because the nymphs come out at this time of the year. But as you can see, these two are clearly adults because only adults can reproduce. So yeah, I actually learned something new. This species, the green-legged spur-throated grasshopper, starts emerging as adults around this time of year instead of in the late summer like the rest of the grasshoppers. Here's the final result of the mushroom survey. This happened on a different day, but I thought it was a cute video. No frogs were harmed in the making of this, and if you look closely at the end, you can see the frogs swimming away unharmed.